Welcome to the 50th anniversary commemoration ceremony for the Peralta Community College District. The 50th anniversary Commemoration Day ceremony is the second of 3 celebrations occurring over the next year. Last Saturday, the Community Festival was a blast, and today we are sharing in the 50th anniversary Commemoration Day ceremony, which has brought us together here and now to engage in the memory, accomplishments, and future prosperity of our district. I am Jennifer Benford Seibert, Employee and Retiree Benefits Manager, and on behalf of over 2,600 current and retired employees, and on behalf of the Anniversary Committee, I welcome State Chancellor Brice Harris, members of the Board of Trustees, Chancellor Ortiz, elected officials, students, staff, faculty, administrators, community members, and our platform guests to our ceremony. 50 years ago, on this date, July 1st, 1964, we officially began as a community college district. 1964 also gave birth to other events as well. Some memories may be more vivid for some of us than for others, but back in 1964, a quartet from Liverpool blazed the American music scene. TV shows such as Bewitched, Flipper, and Gilligan's Island made their debut, in black and white, of course. The unsinkable Molly Brown and Dr. Strangelove were new movie releases. Go figure. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 passed. Lyndon Baines Johnson was our president, and it was the first year that our nation went without a vice president, according to CNN, because I don't remember. The Ford Mustang was born. For those of you who think the foregoing events were notable, Peralta experienced other iconic moments of 1964 as well, one of which was appointing our first chancellor, Chancellor John Dunn, who served until 1971. And I'd like to also, at this point, thank the Anniversary Committee and thank Dr. Herbert Kitchen on behalf of all of your hard work and efforts to make these commemorative events exciting and eventful. Now it is my pleasure to introduce our Master of Ceremonies for the remainder of the program, Bert Dragan. Here you go. Bert Dragan is our longtime Laney journalism instructor and began teaching journalism at Laney College in an era that predated the computer. In fact, as I quote, students wrote their stories with a quill. He currently serves as the chair of the Laney Journalism Department and faculty advisor of the Laney Tower newspaper. Again, thank you for coming to our 50th anniversary ceremony, and we hope you enjoy the program.
Thank you, Jennifer, and welcome everybody to this wonderful celebration marking 50 years of the Peralta District. In 1964, I was a student at Los Angeles City College, Hollywood Park, and Santa Anita some of the time, and glad to tell you 2 of those institutions still exist, one of which is LA City College. And personally, I would never have had the chance to succeed in life without the community college system. I spent last Friday in the year 1964. Reading several issues of the Tower newspaper, then published by the Associated Students of Oakland City College. And later I watched the PBS documentary from 1964 called Freedom Summer. How many of you saw that? Any of you? I would encourage you to check on PBS stations. It's a documentary, a devastating piece of our history that everyone should be familiar with. So before I introduce each speaker today, I'm going to read one brief excerpt from the Tower newspapers of 1964. So this one this appeared January 15th, 1964, under the headline, "Help Name Us." A few weeks ago, the tower said that the trustees of our new junior college district were looking for a name for the district. They still are. Until January 14th, they will accept suggestions for naming the district, the only proviso being that the name include the words Junior College District. Here's your chance. Flaunt authority. Tell off the people who run your lives for 4 or 5 hours a day. Just gather an adjective or two, mix in with Junior College District, and there it is. North of the Estuary Junior College District, or JCD of Greater Oakland and Lesser Emeryville. Or no J, add a C in this D, Charlie. Seriously, if anyone wants to suggest a name, write it down and bring it either to the tower office or to the campus center. So the first person that's going to talk to you is the president of the Peralta Board of Trustees, Abel Guillén.
Good morning, everyone. How's everybody feeling? Great. It's so good to be here. And it's my job as the president of the Board of Trustees to give you greetings on behalf of my colleagues who are here today. The Chancellor will be introducing them. But just by a show of hands, how many of you are actually alumni of one of our Peralta colleges? Raise your hands. Wow, look at that. Well, give yourselves a round of applause. Now, how many of you are currently on the staff or faculty here at the Peralta colleges? Great. Wow. Fantastic. And how many of you are students, current students? Raise your hand. All right. Fantastic. It's been an honor for the last 8 years to serve on the Peralta Board of Trustees, and certainly wherever I go, wherever I'm in traveling, whether it be locally here in the area or other parts of the state, people always have a positive affiliation or memory or association with the district. I've had people tell me that if it wasn't for College of Alameda, for example, they never would have opened up their State Farm agency and sell insurance. I've been told that if it wasn't for the childcare that they had at Laney College, that they never would have been able to go out and get their degree to transfer to become a medical doctor. I've had folks, believe it or not, that lay their claim to fame to the music program here at Laney have gone on to found a band called Green Day as well. So, you know, the Peralta colleges are far-reaching, and even if you didn't come here, certainly it's impacted the lives of our culture, our society, and certainly has provided for the greater good of all of us. Welcome everyone to our 50th annual celebration. I hope that we'll be able to be in a position 50 years from now to celebrate our 100th anniversary. Thank you so much for being here. I want to thank our elected officials that are here today as well for joining us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Abel. So before we get to the next guest, very briefly, from the January 22nd, 1964 Tower newspaper, trustees choose Peralta as name for new district. Facing a February 1st deadline, the Board of Trustees of the new Junior College District encompassing OCC chose Peralta Junior College District of Alameda County as the official legal name for the district at last Monday night's meeting. The trustees sifted through about 100 names, of which the most often suggested were Bayview, JCD, East Bay, JCD, and Alex F. Lang, JCD. I don't know who he is either. In calling the district Peralta Junior College District, the trustees stipulated that they were not favoring at this time either a one-college or a multi-college setup. Merit student Marshall Johnson told the board that the Merit Student Council favored Bayview JCD, which would, according to Johnson, subtly denote the idea of the hill site rather than the downtown site for any future campuses, since view usually means looking down. So the board further said that Peralta JCD would not be taken as favoring one site over another. So And our next speaker is the Chancellor of the Peralta Community College District, Dr. Jose Ortiz. Thank you.
I've only known Bert for like 20 years. He almost forgot my name. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here. The good news for all of you is that I'm not speaking. So I'm introducing some folks. I do want to mention that what Bert just talked about, how the Peralta District got its name. And many of you know that it came from the land grant that was given to one of the Mexican or Spanish soldiers back in the 1800s named Luis Maria Peralta. Can you imagine? He was granted 44,000 acres of land in the East Bay, going from San Leandro all the way up to El Cerrito, because nobody wanted to live here. And today, of course, this is the gold mine for the rest of the country, and everybody wants to live here. But let me just welcome our trustees. I want to introduce the Board of Trustees members who are here. I'll start over there. To my far right is the Vice President of the Board, Meredith Brown. Next to her is Trustee Bill Riley. And then the other Bill on the board is Bill Withrow. He's next to. Then the incomparable Linda Handy is here. Who am I missing? Nicky Gonzalez is on his way. No. Oh, inside, Cy Galasso. They did say they'll be here, so I'm pretty sure they'll be here soon. I want to give you the official Peralta welcome from your standing chancellor. You have up on the wall pictures of our previous chancellors, but they couldn't make it today. So, but one chancellor that I'm very proud of to be able to introduce you today is our State Chancellor Brice Harris. Brice Harris has been our State Chancellor for almost 2 years now. He came to the Sacramento position pretty much around the same time I came here to Peralta. And Brice and I have known each other for a good 20 years. He was the Chancellor at Fresno City and the State Center, then spent many years at as Los Rios in the Sacramento area as Chancellor there. And before Brice took the position of State Chancellor, he followed in the steps of the one of our greatest state chancellors, and that was Jack Scott, a former president of Pasadena, a former state senator, and then spent several years as our chancellor. And when we were looking for the successor to Jack Scott, it was a unanimous, hands-down decision that the only one who can really fill those shoes was Dr. Brice Harris, who not only epitomizes what we do in community colleges, but epitomizes great leadership. And that leadership is being demonstrated today as he not only moves our legislators to granting community colleges the greatest budget we've seen in many, many years, but he's also very hands-on in trying to mitigate the situation at San Francisco City College. So without further ado, I want to introduce to you and proud to introduce our State Chancellor, Brice Harris.
Thank you, Jose, and thanks to all of you for being here. It was great to meet the board of the Peralta District, a wonderful leadership team, and I work for a board as well, and I'm really pleased to have one of the members of the Board of Governors with us today, who just also happens to be a member of the faculty here in the Peralta District. Please join me in acknowledging Dr. Joseph Belansky, a member of the Board of Governors. In 1964, I'd love to tell you I was in preschool at that point. That probably wouldn't be accurate. Like Professor Dragan, I was up into my education some. And I do recall, for those of you students who are in the audience here today, a little younger than the rest of us, rolling off the assembly line, the first Ford Mustang was a pretty big deal for a kid from western Oklahoma. I can still recall them at the Ford dealership putting those automobiles inside a ring of hay bales. I thought nothing could be more exciting than to have a group of cars ringed in by hay bales. That, by the way, was the same year that Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor got married the first time. And that Sidney Poitier was the first African American to ever win the Best Actor Award for Lilies of the Field. Again, a distant memory for those of you who are students these days. Walt Disney's Mary Poppins was the first rollout that year, and it was the first time the U.S. Surgeon General warned all of us that smoking might be hazardous to your health 50 years ago. By the way, the average cost of a gallon of gas was 30 cents. Your average home was $13,600, about half the price of today's average automobile. And the average income in this country at the time was $6,000. So it does give you a bit of a perspective on how far we've come. I think, however, the most important statistic I'll provide you today is one from Peralta, which is that in the 50 years of your life, and of course going back even longer than that for some of your individual colleges, this system has educated more than 1 million Californians. Think of the lives you've changed in those 50 years. Now you can see on the program today that I'm slated to give the anniversary commemorative address, which is a lot bigger title than the comments that I'm going to make. But I am going to try to talk to you a bit about the history of California's community colleges, where we are today, and most importantly, where I believe this system and all of our 112 colleges are headed. You know, I was raised in the Midwest, grew up in western Oklahoma, and spent the first half of my career in a community college system in Kansas City, Missouri. Started as a faculty member in 1971, and thought at the time, when I looked at California, that everything that was exciting was going on in California. I mean, think about it. In the 60s and 70s, at one point in this state, they were opening a new community college a week. Here I was, a young faculty member in the Midwest, seeing the explosion of the only true innovation in American higher education, the American Community College. And what we saw was a system across this country, but especially here in California, that said, you know what, all of those hundreds of thousands and ultimately millions of people that want access to higher education and can't get it in the traditional baccalaureate degree public and private granting institutions have to have somewhere to go. And so we saw an old set of old line junior colleges in California and across this country that morphed into community colleges and said, you know what, if you can benefit from and you want access to higher education, come to our doors. We're going to be open access institutions. If you can benefit from an education, if you've graduated from high school, or even if you didn't graduate from high school and you're beyond the age of 18 and you can benefit, come to our doors. They're going to be wide open. And so we saw these colleges exploding across this country. We saw enrollment in the few hundred thousands grow and grow until now more than half of the freshman and sophomore enrollments in this country are enrolled in California community colleges. In fact, if you look at public education in California today, with the UC, the CSU, and the California Community College system, more than 1 in every 8 people enrolled in American public higher education is enrolled in a public institution in the state of California. So you see the growth. Now, along with that open access here in California and that explosion of colleges came an almost frightening gold rush mentality of innovation. And so we saw colleges that weren't just the typical junior college, that didn't have just the first 2 years of a transfer degree. We saw the colleges begin to add career and technical programs, to add adult basic education and remedial education. We saw them add community education, and ultimately we saw workforce and economic development, all in the growth of the mission of California's community colleges over a number of years. And fast forward to today, this system now enrolls about 2.1 million students. It's hard to believe, but about 1 out of every 11 adults in California, 18 years and older, is enrolled in a California community college. And yet, we face some daunting challenges and opportunities today that'll give us a glimpse of our future. Just a few short years ago, back in 2008 and 9, this system enrolled nearly 2.6 million students. And because we experienced the worst financial crisis in the history of not only this state, but certainly this system, you were forced to do the thing that all of us in open access institutions hate the most, which is ration education. We basically had to take courses off of the schedule that these students needed desperately to graduate, and we had to artificially shrink this system from 2.6 to 2.1 million students. And in fact, if you think about the trajectory of growth this system was on, the loss is not 500,000 students. It's probably somewhere between 600,000 and 700,000 Californians that were denied access because the state simply couldn't afford to offer the classes. Now, by the way, those of you in Peralta and up and down this state, at one point, in spite of the rationing of education and how few dollars we had more than 100,000 students in all of our colleges, including here in Peralta, that we weren't getting paid for. We saw our faculty willing to see their average class size go from about 26 or 27 to 32. So what you saw was a system that believed so deeply in open access that it basically took more and more students that it wasn't being paid for just to try to protect at all costs that concept of open access. So now, thankfully, in the last year or so, we've seen the voters in this state, driven, by the way, mainly by younger voters, who said enough is enough. And they passed Proposition 30, and what we saw in the first half of the year of that resource was funding for an additional 20,000 students. And then last year, money for 40,000 more students, and the budget that passed just last week has in it funding for about 60,000 students more. So in the 2.5 years since Prop 30 passed, we've seen a total restoration of access of about 120,000 students. But remember, we're working against a decline of somewhere in the neighborhood of 500,000 to 700,000 students, so we still have a long way to go. But we do believe this system is going to recover, and I'll talk more in a moment in terms of looking at the future about what I believe that means for our enrollment. The other challenge we're facing is to help our students succeed in greater and greater numbers. When you look at America, you see among the oldster crowd, the 65 and above age group, I'm included there, that we still rank third in the globe in terms of higher education attainment. We have one of the greatest percentages of our older population that holds some kind of college attainment. However, as you look at our population and it gets younger and younger, and you look at the youngest demographic, the 24 to 35 that should be coming out of college now, we're now 16th in the globe in terms of the percentage of the younger part of our population that have a college attainment. What's happened over those last many decades is we've seen stagnation in the percentage of the American public that's completing college degrees and certificates. There are only two countries in the globe that have stood still during that period of time, the United States and Israel. All the rest of the countries are progressing. We're standing still. And as you can imagine, that means today we stand to have a generation of Americans that are less educated than their parents. A frightening proposition. And so, not only must we open the doors to these colleges back up and restore access to this system and across this country, but we must also help students succeed in greater and greater numbers. And so in addition to open access, the other thing we're doing is working to improve student success. The Board of Governors, Joseph and his colleagues in January of 2012 passed a recommended 22 recommendations for the improvement of student success. We're now a year and a half into that agenda. We have more than half of those 22 recommendations completed, and by the end of 2015, we'll have them all done at the state level. And at the colleges here in Peralta and up and down this state, there is a robust amount of activity improving all parts of our colleges and helping students succeed in greater and greater numbers. And by the way, we're measuring it. We have a new scorecard that's been rolled out in the last 18 months, which allows any of us to go online to any one of our colleges, push the scorecard button, and see how each and every college in the 112 system is doing in terms of graduation rates, transfer rates, completion of basic skills, completion of CTE, the kind of key measures we know help us understand how our students are doing. And more importantly, not only can we measure it, but later this month, the Board of Governors will set goals for the state in terms of improving the success of our students. So those are our greatest challenges, restoring access to this system and improving the success of students. Now, let's look forward 5, 10, 50 years longer. And let's think about the period we're in now and what that will do in terms of setting the stage for our future. I happen to be extremely bullish on the future of California's community colleges. And I am that way because of what I mentioned a moment ago, and that is how important we become in restoring America's global competitiveness. We simply have to get this right. When we have nearly 1 in every 8 students in American public higher education and here in California, and when you look at American community colleges, we have about 1 in every 10 students enrolled in a community college here in California. If we can get this right, we can have an impact on the competitiveness of America in the future. And so when I look forward at our colleges 10 and 15 and 50 years from now, here's what I see. I do see dramatic growth. I expect this system, which now has about 2.1 to 2.2 million students in it, to get close to or exceed 3 million students by 2025. I think the trajectory we're on is a dramatic one. Now, why do I believe that? Because there are some downward pressures on our enrollment. High school graduation rates is flattening out a little bit. The economy is improving, and when it improves, students tend to go back to work instead of go to college. But the greatest likelihood of upward pressure on our enrollment are the fact that you can no longer get a job in this country without education beyond a high school diploma. So when you look at the future of the next 20 years, 80% of the jobs that are going to be created are going to require an education beyond a high school diploma, and the vast majority of those will not necessarily require the baccalaureate degree. That's our sweet spot, right between that high school diploma and a 4-year traditional baccalaureate degree. So I see the potential for growth in our system to be dramatic, and I think you'll see not only an increase in our numbers, but an increase in our penetration in the adult population in California. Secondly, I think the other thing that will fuel our growth will be increasing student success. I think these activities that you're undertaking here in Peralta and are being undertaken up and down the state are going to improve our success rates. Let me give you a couple of numbers to show you how high the hill is and yet how great the opportunity is. In the California community colleges today, if you come to one of our colleges as a college student, in other words, you're ready to go to college when you walk in our door, you have a better than 70% chance of succeeding as a result of that. That's, by the way, competitive with many selective institutions in this country. However, if you come to our colleges unprepared for college, you need remediation in either math or English or both, your chance of succeeding drops to 42%. Now, the challenge for those of us in California community colleges is that only 23%, only 23 of every 100 students that come to our colleges are college students when they get here. 77% of them need remediation in either math or English. That's why the student success activity, the work you're doing in basic skills, in college readiness, in admissions and counseling, in financial aid, in online ed planning, all of the activities you're undertaking to enhance student success. Once we are successful in implementing those, we're going to see that base number change because we're going to be working down in those high schools as part of Common Core, helping students get better prepared to go to college, and we'll see the ones that get here be more successful when they arrive, and you'll see those success numbers skyrocket. And so I believe you're going to see not only growth in the numbers of our students, but dramatic growth in the success of those students as well. The other thing I think you're likely to see is a continued trend toward more and more innovation. We know that our colleges, a lot of people say, well, you know, the state of California, the governor wants community colleges to do more online education. I think what a lot of people don't realize is that the California community college system is probably the largest online provider of education in this country today. We have nearly 10% of all of our offerings that are offered online, and we have more than 60% of our offerings that are online augmented. And so if you look at the engine of online education, the California community colleges are the greatest, and I think that trend will continue. Now, I don't want to suggest that 50 years from today will be all online education. We don't believe that's practical, nor do we believe it's in the best interest of our students. In fact, what we believe is that all of our students should have some of their education online rather than some of our students having all of their education online. In fact, the research suggests that especially for beginning college students, especially in gateway courses, that they perform dramatically less successfully online than they do in a face-to-face environment. So as they get into the curriculum and get their legs underneath them, then their success rates are equal to those in a traditional method, but it takes some time to do that. So we do see online education and the technology of aiding education as an important part of our future, but there will never be a substitute for the relationship between a faculty member and a student. Finally, looking at the expansion of our mission. Our mission has traditionally had those 5 strands that I talked about earlier: transfer education, career technology, community service, the workforce and economic development mission, and remediation. Those are the 5 traditional mission strands of California's community colleges. Recently, the legislature narrowed those some. They said to us, we're not going to take community service out of your mission, but we're going to tell you to under-prioritize that because we frankly can't afford everything, and we think remediation, career technology, education, and transfer are the most important parts of your mission. And so that's where our focus has been. But I do believe as the economy improves and the state begins to realize the value of the work you do in community service education as well, that you're going to see that mission strand coming back stronger into the future. Let's face it, having an older person like myself enrolled in a ceramics class rather than sitting home watching soap operas and getting ill and ending up in a hospital is a far better investment of the taxpayers' money. So I think the future of California's community colleges, and specifically of the Peralta District, is as bright as it can be. I think money's going to come back in the next few years. I think the leadership of our faculty and staff are going to ensure our students succeed at greater and greater rates. I think the popularity of this system among the public, the elected officials, the civic and governmental leaders is going to continue to expand. And I think when you look back on this period, 10 and 15 and 20 years from now, you will see this was another period of golden innovation in California's community colleges. It's an honor and a pleasure to serve as your chancellor. It's especially a great honor to wish each and every one of you happy 50th birthday. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chancellor Harris. That was very, very inspiring. And before we continue, I just want to acknowledge the presence of some mayors that are here. Mayor Kwan from Oakland. Mayor Tom Bates of Berkeley. And from Alameda, we have the council member Lena Tam. And we have Trish Herrera, Board of Education, Alameda Unified School District. Thank you for coming. And before we continue, I want to read a very brief article from the March 11th, 1964 Tower newspapers under the headline, Charlie Potatoes is coming April 4th. The 4th annual Charlie Potatoes Dance will be held April 4th at the Brazilian Room in Tilden Park. The semi-formal event will be sponsored by the Alpha Phi Beta fraternity and the ASOCC. Door prizes, a twist contest, and the naming of this year's Charlie Potatoes will be featured. All recognized OCC clubs may sponsor a candidate to run for the title of Charlie Potatoes. Voting will take place at the dance. How many know who Charlie Potatoes was? I have no idea either. I was hoping you knew. So we are going to continue now with our soloist, Rosemary Vasquez.
Thank you and welcome. I'd like to dedicate this song to all the heroes, the Peralta heroes in our life, past, present, and future.
Must have been cold there in my shadow to never have sunlight on your face. You were content to let me shine, that's your way. You always walked a step behind. I was the one with all the glory, while you were the one with all the strength. A beautiful face without a name for so long, a beautiful smile to hide the pain. Did you ever know that you're my hero? You're everything I would like to be. I can fly higher than an eagle, 'cause you are the wind beneath my wings. Might have appeared to go unnoticed, but I had it all here in my heart. I want you to know I know the truth, of course I know it. I would be nothing without you. Did you ever know that you're my hero? You're everything I wish I could be. I can fly higher than an eagle, 'cause you are the wind beneath my wings. Did you ever know that you're my hero? You're everything, everything I wish Thank you, thank you, thank God for you. The wind beneath
That was a showstopper. Thank you, Rosemary. That was beautiful. I'm told we have the superintendent of the Emeryville schools. Albany. You stand, give us your name. Thank you. Hope you weren't put off. Well, the line was about Emeryville. Okay. So I want to give you just briefly a guessing game. This is from the March 18th Tower newspaper, and this was an ad for a comic who was an ex-Temple University football player and rising comedian. He will perform Thursday, March 19th in the Merritt Auditorium. Anybody want to guess who this was? You're right. Who guessed that? Bill Cosby. Rising comedian. Very good. I wish you would win something, but we don't have anything. I don't think so. Do you have any old computers? Or no, we don't. A pen. Okay. And we're going to hear next remarks from the Berkeley City College president, Dr. Deborah Budd.
Thank you, Bert, and thank you, Chancellor Ortiz, for helping organize this wonderful event. And Jeff, thank you very much, Jeff Heyman, for setting this up. And Chancellor Brice Harris, we really appreciate you coming to the Peralta District today to help us celebrate. I wore my gold for the 50th anniversary. And knowing that when we were talking at Berkeley City College to celebrate our 40th anniversary, it was like, let's figure out what is the 40th. So we could ask a question. I'm not sure anyone knows that, but we're still looking for that. Berkeley City College has been in existence for 40 years. We initiated as Vista Community College, and we have been in our new building on Center Street since 2006. And we are thrilled with the growth that we have had. As was mentioned earlier, we are very thankful from the state as well as the local voters with the additional funding that has come our way from growth funds as well as our parcel tax that can help us on a daily basis to increase our student success. As was mentioned, each of the community colleges in the Peralta District serves several missions. We have incredible career transfer education program, CTE. Our Spanish medical interpreter program has students, in hospitals helping with interpreters for doctors as far as away as Stanford University. Our multimedia program helps train students to go into business and currently working with Pixar. We have the highest acceptance rate in the state to UC Berkeley for our Berkeley City College students. And all of our colleges do incredible jobs in this district with transfers to the UCs and CSUs. In addition to the local schools and universities, we transfer as far away as Harvard, Columbia, and as close to private universities as Stanford. And on a daily basis, it is the support of our faculty, our staff, our administrative teams, and our students that act as peers to help each other succeed. And we are just thrilled to be reaching our 50th anniversary in the Peralta District. And as we all know, you don't get to 50 without some challenges. And I think every time we have had challenges in this district, we have risen to the occasion. And I think it is absolutely evidenced by the support of all of you here, that we are here for each other. Each of the colleges support each other, and we are all here for our faculty, staff, and students. And I just really again, welcome you. Thank you for coming, and look forward to, as was mentioned, another 50 years. So thank you. And I did want to also give Chancellor Brice Harris a T-shirt. When he spoke to our district 2 years ago, he said his goal was to get a T-shirt from all of the community colleges across the state. At that time, it was 112, and now it's 113, correct? So I don't know how many you have yet, but Berkeley City College has one for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. And just a couple of brief things. One, we have in the room a Peralta baby born July 1st, 50 years ago. That is Gail Pendleton. Happy birthday. We are going to have the mayor speak now. First, though, just briefly going back, one item from the Tower newspaper. Just briefly, we had it was a literary magazine called AD, and I found out that was in response to BC, the comic strip. And there was a lot of controversies going on in 1964 on the Oakland City College, soon to become Peralta. And one was whether or not you had to have a student body card to write for the magazine. And student body cards cost $5. That was a lot of money then. To some of us, it's a lot of money now. So here were some letters to the editor, and I cannot resist reading this brief letter. This is about somebody who had his own view that you should get a student body card. Under the little headline, glad to get AD. Editor, glad I got my copy of AD before those clods pulled it from circulation. Signed, Charles Schwab. I'm not sure if that was the one. So we are going to hear now from Oakland Mayor Jean Quan. Thank you for coming.
So Tom apologizes, he had another date, but I just want to say I brought a proclamation, so we made this Peralta Community College Day. But I want to talk just briefly. Some of you know I was in the White House last week, and we were talking about the Makers Movement and the partnership in the future of Oakland. And the Makers Movement and the new high-tech industrial future of providing high-tech, good-paying jobs for the city of Oakland is not just something that is an evolution of having that first Oakland School Board vocational shop back here in the early 1900s when this campus was actually an extension of the school board. And some of you know I was president of the Oakland School Board. Some people still accuse me of thinking as a school board member, and I wear that as a badge of honor because I think young people and investment in education is the cornerstone of democracy, and it's certainly the gap that we have to fill before we become the real city of everyone's dreams. Martin Luther King said 50 years ago that that there are still these islands of poverty and oceans of prosperity. And with Oakland rising right now, that's what I think about. I think about the kids in East Oakland. I think about the kids in West Oakland. I think about our undocumented dreamers and how many of them are still dropping out at the rate of 50%. So this system is their second chance. The partnership between the Oakland School District and this system is the pathway for them to get good paying jobs and be part of the economy. The other day I had to argue with a person in West Oakland who said, I don't know if we should build any more market rate housing. I said, actually, we haven't built any in West Oakland for a long time. He said, well, those people will come in. I said, we got empty land, but it's not those people. I mean, your grandson hopefully is going to get a job, a good paying job in the city, and I'll be mad as hell if they move out to Hayward, right? This is the key for them, whether they're going on to Berkeley, as many do, or whether they're going to get a high-tech job at the Port of Oakland or as part of our new industrial centers and arts and culture in places like makers workshops. And so this last month, there's been an amazing number of partnerships. We're part together of a system of $15 million that's coming to the East Bay, a collaboration between workforce investment boards that the city runs, community colleges, and the Oakland and school districts. And that, what I'd like to call a pipeline or warm handoff, is a chance for many of our young people to change the future and the destiny of this city. We're also, the community colleges is going to be opening one of the biggest makers workshops, according to what I learned at the White House, and it's going to be in partnership with 2 of our schools and in partnership with the Oakland Public Library, 2 Lending Library. So these are the kinds of things we never did before, and we're doing it in partnership, and we have to do it in a way that we truly hand off the kids from system to system to system, and welcome back some adults who failed to. We increasingly, in the last few years, the state's dumped about 5,000 prisoners from all over Northern California into Oakland. And for a lot of people, the community colleges, the Workforce Investment Board, places like Cypress Mandela that the city runs, and our partnership will be the difference in terms of whether or not they can choose peace or not. And this is a city that has always had big dreams, has always had a big heart, and we're going to invent new things in the next few years, and the community colleges will be at the heart of it. So thank you, everyone. Let's all get out there and let's do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Kwan. We are running a little bit over, so we're going to ask our speakers to keep their remarks brief if they can, and I'm going to hold off on my great material. You can see me later if you want to hear some more jokes from the Terra newspapers. But now we're going to hear from Lena Tam, council member from Alameda.
Good morning. I'm Lena Tam. I'm a member of the City Council of Alameda, and on behalf of our mayor and our school board member, Trish Herrera-Spencer, we are the home of the College of Alameda, so we are an integral part of the Peralta Community College system. We even gave you our former mayor as your board member. So the city of Alameda takes great pride in joining the 50th anniversary celebration of the Peralta Community College system. The quality of the programs has helped students, families, businesses, and our communities grow over the past 5 decades. Together, we are helping to strengthen the future of our region, and we want to thank you for inviting us to celebrate the college's golden anniversary and to be a part of this vibrant community of educators and learners who pursue excellence every single day by delivering on that promise of providing a positive impact on our community. So to keep my remarks short, I want to make sure that we in the city of Alameda extend our congratulations on the 50th anniversary of the Peralta Community College District and wish you another 50 years of success. Thank you.
Thank you, Lena. Also from Alameda, we have the president of the College of Alameda, Dr. Eric Gravenberg.
Good morning, everyone. Chancellor Ortiz, thank you for pulling this event together. I want to thank your staff as well. Chancellor Harris, always good to see you. Thank you for those remarks. The College of Alameda bids you a welcome. We're known as the Island Campus. I've been there a year, and I've had such a great time meeting with city officials, working with the faculty and staff. I want to take just a few moments to talk about and build upon what Chancellor Harris talked about in terms of getting ready for the future. As we celebrate 50 years, we must prepare for the next 50. And to do that, we must reaffirm our values, but realign our thinking. We can't do old things with new money. Our students cry out for more support. We also know that we have to have better relationships with our community. And while we've done some amazing things in terms of partnerships, those partnerships will be challenged because the competition for institutions like ourselves to stay alive, to have relevancy, is rooted in what the students' needs are and going to be. We must always be guardians for those students because we are the people's college. That's not to besmirk or denigrate the UC or the CSU system. I've worked in those systems. But we are the ones totally committed to being the people's college. As Chancellor Harris has said on many occasions, we serve the most, but we get the fewest dollars. Well, that has changed and will continue to change. To reach some of those young brothers and sisters that I interview and have conversations with every day, we must restore relevance in their lives. Let them know that this is the beacon of hope, and that hope provides oxygen for the soul. Our programs at College of Alameda, if they're automotive technology, are employing students right after, even before they get out of school. Our fashion and design program is legendary, worldwide, competing on a global scale. Our dental assisting program is really fulfilling a gap in terms of the healthcare needs of our communities. In our business department, soon we'll be launching a Center for Urban Entrepreneurship because many of these young folks want to start their own jobs, put that money back in our community. So for us, it's not about motivating people, it's about inspiring them. And that is what Peralta is all about and all of the colleges that you see before you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gravenberg. I just want to acknowledge the presidents of one more of our Peralta trustees. Sai Galasa is here. Where is he? Right there. Thank you for coming, Sai. Next, we're going to hear from the president of Laney College, Dr. Eleonora Webb.
Thank you, Bert. I fondly appreciate this extraordinary professional who's been at Laney College for over 40 years. Yes, and expects to be there for at least another 10 years. Is that correct, Bert?
I'm working on it.
Chancellor Ortiz, Chancellor Harris, Board President Guillén, our Board of Trustees. This is absolutely remarkable. I was inspired by the singing of the extraordinary Rosemary. I was inspired by the substantive comments made by our State Chancellor, who always just wows us because of his unwavering commitment to much more than what we're experiencing, to much more than what we see. It's all about the transformation of lives. And that's why we have so well devoted our energy, our efforts, our time, our care, our consideration to this district. And it's an honor to be a part of it and to serve in the role as president of Laney College. Laney College, Laney College, Laney College. Laney College, Oakland High School in the early 1920s. Oakland Trade Technical School by the 1940s. And when in 1948, when Joseph C. Laney died, who had been a president of the Board of Supervisors, am I right? President of the Oakland Unified School District Board, let me get it straight. When he died, because of his legacy of commitment in a lot of areas, including journalism, we renamed as a community Oakland Trade and Technical School, Laney Community College. As part of our roles as presidents, we get to put in some signature items into the, what do we call it? The time capsule. And this means a lot to me. This was given to me by the team that ensured that we had a winning team that year. But a team that works to ensure that over 90% of the students who go through the football program transfer to four-year institutions. That's a legacy of Laney College. And that's a legacy of all the athletic programs at Laney College that brings in hundreds of students to that institution who would otherwise perhaps not even go on to higher education. This will go in the Times capsule. And this is very special to me. Along with this will go in things that reflect the Laney Library, the Associated Students of Laney College, the fact that we had a White House Summit at Laney College this year, a Mayor's Forum, where our Mayor, Jean Quan, was present and so well illuminated. our graduation, our student leadership events. There's a number of things that are going in there. Why are they going in there? Because in 25 years, we want people to look back at Laney and look back at this district and say, more than just the obvious occurred. What occurred there was about illuminating the values of collaboration, of partnership, of integrity, of accountability. What occurred there was the genius of spirits among the faculty who work across divisions, English, math, sciences, the trade and technical areas, to ensure that students at Laney, all of them increasingly, experience a contextualized, academically rigorous environment. So when they come there and they leave with greater efficiency and with the technical, as well as the technical skills and the knowledge to transfer, to move in life-sustaining career positions. And they help eliminate those low rates of achievements because of the nature of what we're building at that institution, which reflects the genius of all the faculty in this district, the staff, the administrators. So it's an honor to be part of this program because so much is happening. But it's not just at the colleges. At this district office, led by our chancellor and the board, there are people working tirelessly to make certain that each one of our colleges, each institution is able to provide the quality educational programs and services that facilitate students' engagement, their choice to learn, to achieve, and ultimately to be successful. So it's an honor to be here, and it's an honor to have reflected in that time's capsule the best of the best. Wado.
Thank you, Elnora. And the last of our presidents, college presidents to speak, Dr. Norma Ambriz Galaviz. How did I do with your name? No accent.
You're perfect. Did excellent. Chancellor Ortiz, Chancellor Harris, and the Peralta Board of Trustees. Merritt College is so proud to serve as one of its 4 colleges of the district. As one of its comprehensive colleges, we all strive to be comprehensive. We offer our occupational programs, our liberal arts curriculum, in order to provide an extensive service to our community. Our Merritt has a vibrant healthcare program that consistently exceeds its student capacity and maintains partnerships within our local health providers, always providing those practitioners that our community are asking for. Our recent development of microscopy, genomics, and our most recent startup is Cystotech, demonstrate our desire to be current and demonstrate excellence. The uniqueness of Merritt College is our ability to serve as a leader in transfer and workforce training of what? Of our underrepresented students of our community. You know, Merritt College has over 30% of our students are African American students. We're very proud of that. Merritt College is a college that's known for social justice and environmental issues. We consistently demonstrate that through our history. Our history is beyond our 50th year celebration. It is actually 60 years of age. But we love to be part of a district that had chosen to provide a collective effort and strength to our community, because it's going to take that collective focus to serve this community that has many needs. Those needs translate into effective partnerships, partnerships that Merritt takes very seriously and hopes to continue to enhance. And we start with our partnerships that first focus on our local community needs, and that is safety. And we started that with developing our Campus Administration of Justice program, and jointly worked with the City of Oakland to establish that. So we've started what Mayor Kwan likes to refer to as growing our own. We will have a police force out there that will be represented by Oakland residents. We're very proud of that. We will continue to do that, even in our cybersecurity program that we are beginning. So all of this represents the importance of community and the importance of individuals wanting to change their lives. That's what merit represents. We change their lives at different points of their time to continue their education. Our job is to make a difference, a positive difference. So one of the contributions we are making to this time capsule is this emblem that we give to each and every graduate that says, Merritt College changed lives. And we feel very proud of making that difference. So again, thank you, congratulations to Merritt and the Peralta Community College District.
Thank you to all the speakers. We're getting very close to the reception time. First, we want to show you a video over here on your right. I'm not sure why this is the biggest screen we could come up with, but times are still tough.
Hi, my name is Irvin Robinson, and I want to wish Peralta a happy 50th anniversary.
Happy birthday to Peralta.
It's been serving this community for quite some time.
Congratulations, Peralta Colleges, not just on survival, but on providing a huge, huge benefit to the community we serve.
And it's been a rewarding situation for me.
Congratulations to the Peralta Colleges.
Celebrating our 50th anniversary.
It's a great achievement. It's a great district. I had a great career here.
Happy 50th anniversary.
Congratulations on the 50th anniversary of the Peralta District.
I'm wishing Peralta continued success for the next 50 and more years.
5 decades of serving this wonderful community.
50 years of enriching the lives of many, 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 many individuals, and I wish you 50 more.
Thank you, Jeff. And now we're going to turn the program over to Jeff Heyman. I'm not sure what he has planned, but Jeff? You better listen to him.
Hello. Wow, there we go. I want to thank Bert for a great job and everyone up here and our mayors and elected officials for coming today. And I also want to give a shout out to Herb Kitchen and the whole committee who's done a great job putting this together. So thanks, Herb. Nice job. Well, Chancellor Ortiz, this is our time capsule. This was made by the Laney Carpentry students. And we're going to be putting items in it. We're not going to seal it up right now. So if you have any other items, you probably have another 24 hours to get them in there. But do you want to put in those last items? And do you have anything you'd like to say? Oh, here's something.
Give me my gold tree.
Mayor Kwan donates the gold tree, the oak tree, representing the city of Oakland.
Anybody have anything?
So I was going to donate my gold watch that I'm getting in retirement, but I'm not retired yet, so we're going to have to hold that off. So, Jeff?
I've got a pin of Richard Aoki here I'm putting in. Oh, whoa. Come on up.
This is what I'm going to put in here.
Go ahead.
So, go ahead.
I'm going to put in here incidentally, when you mentioned time capsule, it looked like he was pointing directly to me, so that disturbed me. And I'm not going into that box. But what I thought I might do is just a memento to this magnificent occasion. Incidentally, I just came in to get my mail, and I wondered what the hell's going on. And so Anyway, I'm going to put in my trustee Cy Galassa official declaration of importance right into this box here. And 50 years from now, I'll open it up and say hello to myself. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Galassa.
Anybody else?
Anyone else want to?
Oh, yes. Hold on, Gail, the Peralta baby.
So, you know, Gail Pendleton was a Peralta baby. She was born July 1, 1964. When she was born, they actually gave her a Peralta pin. They put it on her toe, and we knew she would be an employee 50 years later. So, Gail, thank you very much. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, sir.
What do you donate?
I'm donating the tiara, the diamond tiara, and my sash to the time capsule.
For those who don't know, Gail is an employee of Berkeley City College. Here comes Val.
Hi, I'm Val Williams. Today is my first day on the job as the Albany superintendent. And I look forward to working with every one of you, so I thought if you want, this is my brand new ID badge. This is my first day on the job. So can I put in the time capsule?
Absolutely, as long as that doesn't mean you're quitting. You're not quitting, are you? Put it right there. Thank you very much. Here comes Romeo. I knew Romeo couldn't stay back.
Hi, my name is Romeo Garcia, and since people are making official contributions on behalf of the Peralta Colleges Foundation, I wear this badge proudly to represent the Peralta Colleges Foundation and the Peralta Colleges throughout my travels in the many cities that we serve.
Rosemary.
Chancellor Harris and everyone here. Oops. Oops. I'd like to contribute the words to The Wind Beneath My Wings, because I think I've sang it 8 million times. So I'd like to put that in there. That's
And a Lenny graduate. Anyone else? All right, we're going to seal it up. Chancellor Ortiz, if you want to put it in our program as the last item, if you have something else, let us know, and then we'll seal it.
Tiger Lassa shaking hands with Gerald Ford. Was that right?
Yeah. All right, there we go. I think that'll work.
Does this work?
Yep, just put that on top. Should fit right in.
This was made by the Laney Woodwork Department.
It's beautiful. You can come up and take a look after.
It doesn't fit.
Yeah, well, there we go. Yeah, well, go ahead, give it a look. Yeah, we'll get it in there.
We'll put it under the Laney jacket.
Let a lady do it. Come on, Jim, let's fix this. We know how to pack, don't we? No.
What's in there?
That's my fan for.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh my God.
Perfect fit. You can push it.
You're gonna have to tap it.
Yeah, well, we'll do that. We'll do a little pounding later. Hey, everyone, let's give a round of applause to the Peralta Colleges in celebrating our 50th anniversary. 5-0. I want to thank, again, Chancellor Brice Harris for coming and joining us for this celebration. I want to thank Mayor Jean Quan, who is certainly a big part of the Peralta family. I want to thank our trustees, all of you, for being with us. We are going to now segue into a little reception. We have libations and treats in the back here, I understand. But obviously, this is unrehearsed. And we are thanking all of you for participating. We have another gala event coming in October for a black and white dinner. I hope many of you can attend that. And again, thank you all for celebrating with us and with me the 50th anniversary of the Peralta Colleges. Have a great day.